Model View Controller. Model View Controller is a blueprint for organizing code which represents one of several design patterns. To understand the need for these patterns, think about good and bad software. Good software is easy to change and work with, while bad software is difficult to modify. Design pattern helps us to create the good kind of software. Software evolves over time due to various factors. A new feature needs to be added. A bug needs to be fixed. Software needs to be optimized. Software design needs to be optimized. Indicates of bad software design: rigidity, fragility, needless complexity, and needless repetition. Software can be intentionally designed to handle changes that might occur later on. The best approach is to create components in the application that are loosely connected to each other. In a loosely coupled application, you can make a change to one component of an application without making changes to other parts. There are several principles that enable reducing dependencies between different parts of an application. Software design patterns represent strategies for applying software design principles. Model View Controller is one of these patterns. In general, visual component is a composite of three distinct objects: the way that the component looks when rendered on the screen, the way that the component reacts to the user, the state information associated with the component. Throughout time, a particular architectural approach has demonstrated remarkably efficiently, namely the Model View Controller. The Model View Controller software design pattern is a method for separating concerns with a software application. As the name implies, it has three layers. Model defines the business layer of the application. Controller manages the flow of the application. View defines the presentation layer of the application. Model handles data and business logic, represents the business layer of the application. View presents the data to the user whenever asked for, defines the presentation of the application. Controller entertains user requests and fetch necessary resources. It manages the flow of the application. Each of the components has a demarcated set of tasks which ensures smooth functioning of the entire application along with complete modularity. Advantages of MVC architecture. A common problem faced by the application developers these days is the support for different types of devices. The MVC architecture solves this problem as developer can create different interfaces for different devices based on from which the device the request is made. The controller will select an appropriate view. The model sends the data irrespective of the device being used, which ensures a complete consistency across all over. MVC separation beautifully isolates the view from the business logic. It also reduces the complexities in designing large application by keeping the code and workflow structured. This makes the overall code much easier to maintain, test and debug. Model View Controller. A student object has been modeled and the diagrammatic representation has been given to have a look over. This is to create the model. This is to create the view. Here is to create the controller, and we create the main Java file here and we test the result. Widgets. Graphical user interface elements are the visual components that allow user to interact with software application. These elements are often referred to as widgets, which are essentially building blocks that make up the user interface. Each widget serves a specific purpose and provides a way for user to input information, view data or trigger action. Here is a list of controls in the Java X.Swing package. Input components: button, text, menu, slider, J combo box, list. Now information display components are J label, J progress bar, and J component set tooltip text. Chooser components are file chooser, color chooser, that is J file chooser, J color chooser. More complex displays are J tables, J table, J